Hi, welcome to another Colors of Prog, Season 3, Episode 3. Today I'm talking about the Ian Gillan Band. Uh, Down the Road, the complete Ian Gillan Band story. It's a box set. I don't, I know I don't speak of the band Deep Purple much, except in passing. I discussed some things over the years, but never really delve deep into them. They've been around since 1968, Shades of Deep Purple. And with lineup changes, members leaving and returning, they managed to hang tough through the years. They've had a few ill-chosen attempts to be something different musically from time to time. Um, I do like 2020's Whoosh, but turning to Crime the following year was an Odd Covers album. Uh, Featuring everything from Dylan to obscure Bob Seger, songs from the band, Love, Cream, and the Allman Brothers. It was like a throw against the wall and see what sticks, little stuck. Um, Not a lot of people liked it, but I might take another listen to it down the road. Now, Ian Gillan joined as lead singer. He joined Deep Purple as lead singer, replacing Rod Evans for 1970s in rock album. Without a doubt, an early successful album from Deep Purple was Machine Head from 1972. That featured Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, everybody knows that song, Space Truckin', and more. It had a distinct heavy rock sound, aided by John Lord's keyboards, Richie Blackmore's guitar, really cemented them as an important radio-friendly band. Um, Occasionally, the radio stations and their labels shortened edits of their songs for the airwaves. A lot of Deep Purple tracks were long; they were just rock jams, but were really using a lot of melody, though, and it was really they're really all over the place at some point. Now, Deep Purple toured a lot, and maybe too much for Ian Gillan, and a batch of tour dates in Japan, released in 1972 as Made in Japan, uh, made him realize he wanted to do something different. By the time of the Deep Purple album Burn in 1974, David Coverdale was the singer. But uh, three albums later, uh, and they didn't record too much after Burn, 1984, three Deep Purple albums later, 1984, Perfect Strangers, Ian Gillan had returned. Now, let's get back to Ian Gillan leaving Deep Purple the first time. Um, he was burnt out musically, so he built a music studio, worked at a record store, which I believe he may have co-owned, took it easy, took life easy. But an all-star sort of album, all-star musicians, it was called the Butterfly Ball, and it featured members of Deep Purple and other musicians. At that time, I don't know if a lot of people recall in the early 1970s, there were these weird albums. Keith Moon had one, or was a part of one, and they were band members, other bands who kind of got together and spoofed things. And Jefferson Starship did it. Um, so Deep Purple and other band members created the Butterfly Ball. I think it might have been a two-album set. They needed a vocalist because the original vocalist didn't work out or had to leave or whatever. And Ian Gillan helped out. Um, Kind of got his juices going, so to speak, to make music again. And it was a really short span of time. It wasn't like it took 10 years off. He also proclaimed to really get into jazz and jazz rock, and even funk, and this is true. Um, but none of the music he turned out with the Ian Gillan band, in my opinion, is remotely jazz-like or fusion or funk or anything. It's just rock. He assembled a band which included sometime Roxy Music bass player John Gustafson. He played with a lot of bands, but he was on a lot of those great Roxy albums. Ray Fenwick on guitar, Mick Nossoff on drums, and Colin Towns and sometimes Mike Moran on keyboards. Child in Time, produced by Deep Purple's Roger Glover, uh, who also contributed keyboards, is notable for a fine cover of Deep Purple's Child in Time. That's from an early Deep Purple album. Let It Slide, a 12-minute barnstormer, very much in the Purple tradition, is probably the best song on there. It was originally released on Polydor in '76, but the album struggled to find an audience. Maybe by that time period, the mid to late '70s, music was changing a bit. Clear and Turbulence, released on Island Records in '77, was interesting, but not entirely successful attempt for Gillan to get his band on board with what he wanted to record. He wanted, again, there's a booklet, a liner notes that come with this box set where he's, I'm really into jazz rock and I'm trying to get the band to play this stuff. It doesn't work with his strong vocals. Scarabus, released in '77 Island Records, came little too late. This is the third album, I believe, and it's the one where he's trying to get his band finally moving in that hard rock fusion sound. But I just think these guys were just not wanting to do that. The other members of his band. Problem is, by '77, punk rock was taking hold, and Island Records, who released Scarabus, just dropped them. In 2026, the Demon Edsel Records released this heavy box set called Down the Road, The Complete Ian Gillan Story on 8 CDs. Pardon me. Disc 1 features a remastered version of Child in Time, the first album, plus 8 studio edits of the songs from that album. Disc 2 features a remastered version of the second album, Clear Light Turbulence. Very interesting. Disc 3 features the original sessions for that album that were done at Dave Edmunds' Wales-based Rockfield Studios, titled the Rockfield Mixes. And it's an entirely different record. And it might be more toward the sound that Ian Gillan was heading towards, but when they went and re-recorded all the music, it was just more hard rock. Disc 4 is the remastered version of Scarabus. Disc 5, titled The Rarities, is really for completist only and contains instrumental backing tracks and odd edits that wound up being filled out by the band. Discs 6 through 8 are all live stuff. So we're going to get at disc 6. Ian Gillan Band live at Budokan in the fall of '77. Now you can hear the strain in Ian's voice trying to overseeing rocked up versions of solo music with his band. The audience is appreciative too. They go nuts, especially with Smoke on the Water, Woman from Tokyo being the finale. There's also on here a short 7-song set from the Rainbow in the UK, Rainbow Theatre, titled Live at the Rainbow. And it appears to be a shorter version of the Budokan set. Last but not least, on the live albums, live CDs, Live from Yuban Chokan Hall, Hiroshima, 1977. This is the one that probably comes close to Ian Gillan's vision of a bluesy jazz rock band, something he really wanted to do. he closes the set with 50s music-oriented medley of tunes, including, get this, Lucille, Jailhouse Rock, High School Confidential, and a whole lot of shaking going on, Jerry Lee Lewis. Unfortunately, this is the only disc that sounds like it was sourced from an audience recording, and it's kind of marred by Ian's constant yelling of, "Whoa, yeah," like a demented facilities patient. Probably is not the best way to end this box set, or maybe they couldn't do much with equalizing the vocals. And yeah, as again, I said, this sounds like it was from an audience recording and not from a soundboard. I could be wrong. That much was not really explained in the liner notes. Now, why did I say it's heavy? It's fold out. It's one of the more unusual box sets. It's a large one. It's like a mini LP size. And it contains the 8 discs, fold out inserts, 30-page or so booklet I mentioned, full color, detailing everything about the band, including either their unwillingness or incapability to play the music he wanted the band to play. That's in there. I know, interesting set of music. Probably the best thing is the remastered Child in Time, first disc out of the box. The live material is pretty much good for the first few discs, but the last live disc wouldn't be my go-to. That's a show for today. Thank you for watching.